try to put cases without notes, but it's very difficult to talk about something that's so passionately about without notes. So I'd like to thank my brother and sisters. I'm one of 10 children for coming today. My brother Paul, his wife Ellen, my brother Joe, his wife Claire, my sister Anne Marie, my brother-in-law Steve, and finally the youngest member of our family, my brother, Father Tom Stanton, a Roman Catholic priest here in the Archdiocese of Boston. I sincerely hope that this award validates in a small way every family event I have missed from September 1 until every year for the last 17 years. I want to thank Waltham Youth Hockey board members, Paul Aborn, Lisa Wise, Ken Doucette, and his wife Pam. They, along with Mark Hickey, volunteer an incredible amount of time and talent towards the running of the Waltham Youth Hockey program, 12 months a year. And on behalf of the 97 other coaches in the program, I'll accept this award on their behalf as well. I want to thank the coaches whom I've been privileged to coach with these past years. Earl Rowland and Jim McLaughlin, with whom I coached the midget girls team in Waltham, along with coaches Aradhana Smitty Tam and Bob LeBlanc. Like the other 97 coaches in the program, we enjoy and respect each other immensely. I am very honored that the Associate Commissioner of Hockey East, Kathy Winters, and her husband, Chuck Winters, are here. Kathy has been a dear friend of mine for more than 12 years and has done more to make sure that I do not run afoul of the NCAA rules and regulations, in which she is very well versed in all of these activities. And now I have to turn to the hockey players in our program who have taken the time to come down here today. But first I have to thank the kid I've been playing next to since I was 9 years old, and I am now 54. Michael Flanagan of Milton is here. We started playing hockey at the age of 9. I grew up in Newton, but played sports and went to school in Brighton. Michael and I still play together on men's teams. He and Milton, I and Concord, and we meet up every year and play together. I have to thank the hockey players that come, and I'll be very quick, and they unfortunately have to stand as I have them recognized because of their age and some of their talent. The first two are Dan Rowland and my own son, Matthew Stanton, who made the first trip with me with the university, with the Boston College to the University of Michigan. We participated in the Great Lakes Invitational 12 years ago. Thank you very much for coming. I'd like to thank a very special girl, Nikki Cormier. They're all in the back of the room, so you don't even have to look at me. A young woman who was the goalie on the first team I took to Minnesota 10 years ago that won the first state championship of Waltham Youth Hockey, which I had the privilege of coaching. Nikki graduated from Merrimack College, and I say to anyone publicly and privately, she was my favorite player of all time. Because I also coach on the girls team, I have the unique opportunity to watch these young women develop from the age of 8th grade until they complete their senior year. And this year we had a very special girl who was just another girl who came to our program, played on a number of teams that went all across this country for USA Hockey, including Texas, California, and this past year to Michigan. But she never left the Waltham program she started with as a mite. This year she came in, I believe, 3rd place out in Grand Rapids, Michigan. She played on a team I went to participated out at the University of Wisconsin, including quite a tour of the University of Wisconsin varsity men's locker room, and she was the captain of the Rivers School this year. Earlier this year, I received a text from her at my home, and it said, "Dear Coach, I got into Amherst College." And 20 minutes later, came back another text from her that said, "And Coach, I'll be playing hockey there as well." Laura Schmidline. I would also like to thank the players who I am coaching and still coaching, so I have to be careful. And you can, if you stand when I say your name, so I don't hold up the proceedings too much. Mary Lee McLaughlin is a senior at Fontbonne Academy, where she hooks it over there every day from Weston, is a star on the hockey team, the golf team, and in the classroom. I also have a number of other players here, Declan Reynolds, Mark Doucette, and Hannah Doucette, whom I've also had the privilege of coaching with the team. I was assured that this award is to recognize the co-coach of the year, and it recognizes a Waltham team that I had the privilege of coaching this year. I'd like to recognize the players from the Waltham PB2 hockey team, Mr. Zach Corbin, Sean Dan, Mikey McLaughlin, and Zach Tam, who asked them to. coaches to one team, and I feel it's a little easier coaching the two teams, so I don't have to listen to excuses about why these other kids are playing on these other teams. But I say that in all the humor because, believe me, it happens. And I tell people I like to sit in the back and pray that all my kids do well. I really don't want to hear about all these other things. But this particular team received a lot of recognition. They received recognition from the Waltham City Council. They received a team banner for winning the state championship this year. They had an unbelievable family game. They had team meals and games in the state of Massachusetts, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Vermont. They had 3 college hockey games, including, through the help of someone at Hockey East, a between-the-period skate with Northeastern University and the University of Minnesota with Matthews, which you may recall in late November, and you beat them when they were the #2 ranked team in the country. We had Super Bowl pools. We had a cheat sheet on how to watch the Division I hockey game. We had Division I players from both Merrimack College and Division III players from Norwich University come and participate in our practices. We had hats from Pride. We had mustache practices. We had ice bucket challenges. We had all ice lacrosse, on-ice lacrosse, soccer games, Friday night practices with monetary rewards. I hope that doesn't want to follow the rules. This is a push-up to watch pond hockey games with and without coach in Weston in a very, very special night under the lights in 20 degree below temperature with snow out in Rose Oval out in Minnesota. And 6 different handouts given by their coach covering everything from our 1-2-2-4 check, the penalty kill face-off, offensive power plays, everything. When we went to the districts, we had to get out of it. Every kid received a scouting report from their coach. We went to the game and scouted all the teams. When we went to the state tournament, we were very blessed because we ended up squaring off against Andover before we won it. Each player received a 14-page handout with every team. And just a quick shout out to District 2 in Andover, the single classiest youth hockey organization I have ever dealt with. They supported Waltham this year at the high school level where one of our players had his mother tragically murdered. And in my game, at the conclusion of the game, where it got a little lopsided at the end, I had a very good team. The Andover coach instructed his players that after they received the runner-up award, they were to go and shake the hand of every player in my line. And by the time they got to the end of my line, every kid's tear had been wiped away as we acted like hockey players and said, good game. I also want to thank District 6 because we also, for winning the state, were able to go to the regional, the sectionals up in Vermont. District 6 has a team called Amherst, the Amherst 1 team. I reached out to them because my first team was a team from Onondaga, New York, which for those of you who don't know, play in the Western College, the Western Youth Hockey League, which is unbelievable out in Buffalo. And I couldn't get out there to scout them, and this coach did an unbelievable job scouting for us. So that's what the team got. They also got a 48-page book given to them at the end of November. And it was a story about Minnesota and a trip we went out there. And we had a great time out there. And my wife said, okay, I read everything you wrote, that's pretty good, but you've got to tell them a story, so I'll tell you a quick story. We went out to Minnesota, we landed at 5:30 in the afternoon on Friday. We barely made our first game against Mendota Heights, which is simply youth hockey. We got out that night, went to the University of Minnesota to a hockey game. We got up the next day at 7 o'clock, had a team breakfast, ran out to the oldest rink in Greater Minneapolis, which is a hippodrome in White Bear Lake. We played a team out there. We went to Woodbury, a city of 60,000, the same as Waltham. They have a 330-acre recreational complex with a $22 million indoor facility with 2 rinks and a beautiful rink on the outdoor. As we were playing that game, it ended, we got absolutely killed because Mass Hockey allows, for reasons I don't understand, a AA to be after my name. I'm a Town 2 team. And a fellow from Minnesota said the same thing to me. We played the top 3 of the top 42 teams at the Pewee level in Minnesota because we saw the AA of your name and we thought you might be a Boston guy and try to double cross us. but it was tremendous. So at the end of the game, we all had they had one rule. I got everybody out there, families, and Mark Hickey indicates to me, you can do these, but any kid who can't go, you have to pay for. So it's very simple. You tell them all, if you can't go, we'll take care of you. I was very fortunate this year. I didn't have to pay for the kid to go. But the game was over, and I was in the men's room coming out, and 2 of those beautiful Minnesota moms stopped me. And the mom had a piece of paper in her hand, and she said to me, excuse me, Coach Stan, could I ask you a question? And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, right away, it sets those Minnesotans off because they know you're going to be polite and they're polite to you. She said, we have here a sheet that was given to us from the Woodbury Youth Hockey Program. noticed all the people on your team and the coaches. And I said, yes. And she said, there's no one with your last name that skates. And I said, yes. Are you asking me if I'm divorced? She said, no. Do you have a child on the team? And I said, well, I have a child on the team. And I said, I have 2 children. I have a lovely wife, Nancy Stanton. I said, whom I've been married to for 29 years. It was wonderful. I said, I hadn't took the chance to brag. I said, I have a 25-year-old son, graduated from Holy Cross, and is in the investment world down in New York City. And a beautiful daughter, 21 years old, Mary, who's up at the University of Vermont. And they both stood there and looked at me. And he said, okay, so you don't have a child on the team? And I said, well, actually, I do. I have 15, because Waltham Youth Hockey says when I get a team, we don't want you to teach them hockey. We wanted you to teach them to be hockey players and become part of our family. So on behalf of Waltham Youth Hockey, I accept this award graciously and with a sincere appreciation to Mass Hockey for recognizing these efforts this year.